Hey, happy KOTG Tuesday.
What is
Well,
up, everybody?
welcome and good evening, everyone.
Welcome,
Oh my
welcome.
God, that stash.
Yeah,
I love it, dude.
he hid it from us before the show.
I just got on.
Giving
I
us
was
that
a busy
surprise.
man, giving the kids a bath, putting the kids to bed. Got to do what us dads got to do to allow us some KOTG time on Tuesday.
That's
Nate,
right.
you look
Well
beautiful
said.
with your nice haircut, mustache. whole new Nate.
I've realized this is probably one of the first episodes I've never worn a hat, and I can just see the glare off right here.
Yeah,
Welcome to being a dad, man.
Mhm,
I'm
Yeah.
sit
yeah.
like
I have a
this the whole
receding
time.
hairline.
It's all good. It's
We
all
got
good. It's
some,
Tuesday.
we got some
Tuesday.
awesome guests in the live chat already. I have to say I was first, so whatever
Yo.
prize we're giving out for first, I'll just keep that one.
There you go.
I beat LTZ, thankfully.
LTZ's been.
Yeah, he's on it, man. He's like the first one. I think he thinks we're doing something every giveaway, the first person. So he beats everybody. But golf course lawn, Aaron, good to see you. He's on here.
Yo,
Jason
Dad Bod Lawn just
Dirt.
said, "Hey, Coach Nate."
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Coach Nate.
Coach Ted Nate Lasso.
Ned
There
Flanders.
you go.
Awesome.
No.
Hey,
Don't be jealous.
I see Fert in the Dirt is in the chat, and we heard a little birdie say it's his birthday. So happy
Ew.
birthday, Josh!
Happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday!
Have a
from
good
the
birthday.
KOTG crew. Glad
And
you
just
could
think-
join
How,
us.
how old is he turning? Let's ask him if he's in the chat. How old are you going to be, brother? I don't know if he's
Oh.
older than me or younger than me.
See if he's willing to give up that information.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's get this show started, brothers. Come on now.
Yeah, so let's we'll do our customary everybody grab a glass. Whatever you're drinking tonight. And let's keep off the grass. So, as some of you may see, we have a guest on here tonight. We've kind of been blowing it up for the last week or so, but we've got Robbe Lindsay with MontanaGrow on the show
Hello.
tonight. Welcome, Rob.
Thanks for having me.
So, you get to kind of be the one to tell us a little bit about MontanaGrow. We're not looking for anything scientific. We just want the bare bones minimum nitty gritty kind of down to earth DIY information that you can give us. We've got a lot of guys in the chat tonight so far that are interested to learn a little bit more about MontanaGrow.
Thanks for the opportunity. So MontanaGrow is derived pretty much from one source. It's a volcanic ash that was deposited over 30 million years ago in Montana in a nice little valley. And it's very pure. There's no crystalline features in it. It's amorphous. And thus it's very easily broken down into plant available silicon. And it is kind of a immediate to gradual to long-term release. And so turf is grass, lawn, has a pretty voracious appetite for silica or silicon. And you would think that, there's plenty of it in there with sand. And we were talking earlier about how golf courses, they recognize, the need for silicon. And on your home turf, if you can get some silicon in there, it basically helps your other nutrients, your other inputs. It keeps them around the root zone longer. It helps feed the plant. Silicon's a transporter gene. So basically, all in all, a healthier turf. You'll see a sheen. You'll end up using less water. And if you use enough of the silicon, you won't need to use as much fertilizer. So you start to save on your inputs and your water, which is good for your bottom line. And you end up getting a pretty nice looking piece of turf. We don't have extensive studies with grass. I'm working a little bit with Marion Ag up in the Northwest. We've done a little bit with Oregon State and Oregon, some of the different turf farms out there. So there will be more scientific proof, but really with our product, honestly, the results have been with the eyes. And we've had most of our success has been in, vegetable gardens, agriculture, organic hemp, and then cannabis. So turf, we just know it works because we all have lawns and we all use it. Unfortunately, I don't have like the studies that prove our product works, but I can tell you how our product works a little bit better than some of the stuff that the studies are in. Being a volcanic ash, it sticks around in the soil, and it's it's a combination of several products you're maybe familiar with, like maybe pumice. Maybe you've dealt with some of that in the past. Maybe some of the liquid silicas, which will come in and they'll do a good job if it's foliar sprayed. That gets down into the roots. But basically, plants and turf, when they need silicon, they just need a little bit of it, and they need it when they need it. And that's usually in a stress situation. So what you're getting is a more healthy turf, healthy grass. That's what silicon provides. And our particular silicon will go a long ways for unlocking phosphates and just providing a good, natural mineral. We have a lot of like beneficial, like potash, 5% potash is in there, for example. There you go. Thank you. You can see some of the other, what we call ultra trace elements, or UTEs. You can see that those are also in a amorphous state, and they have the benefit of being right next to a transporter unit. So what you'll find is when you get this down in the root zone, it basically, the roots will attract to it. So when you do a granular top, it takes a little while to get down, but it comes down off the canopy. It will not burn your turf. There's some silicon sources that are calcium silicates, and they, you got to watch. They work a little bit as a liming agent, and you got to watch what you're putting on. MontanaGrow goes down. Your kids can go play on it immediately. It's 100% organic. It's OMRI listed. So there's no harm, no foul, no burn. And so you can handle it without gloves. It does, however, mix nice with traditional fertilizer. You can get a shot of the granules there. And John Pocock actually is the one that makes our granules from ProPete. And he does a heck of a job there. And when you do get the granule, you're going to get 72% roughly instead of 76% of the amorphous silicon, because we do add a OMRI listed. It's a pine lignin. It's derived from the lumber industry. So that's kind of a rundown a little bit. I mean, I could get deeper, but it really is just, it's neutral pH, it's very friendly, can't hurt your lawn. And the thing that I think most people like about it, it provides a visual result. And that's always nice for a customer to see something happen when they put something down and spend money on it. The rest of the stuff becomes apparent as you become more and more familiar with your regimen and what you're using.
So I guess the first question I would have is, when is the ideal time to apply this product for a homeowner for the lawn? You'd mentioned that it's good for stress. So is it something that, works mostly like in the heat of the summer, or you put it down in the spring during the grow season, or what's your recommendations for applications?
Well, I think, spring, summer, and fall, I think it's a great time, because you can literally, blend it with your other fertilizers. So it'll keep those nitrogens around too, and the phosphates. So keep them from running off. So if you take here I get into blending. My weakness is application rates. So I would defer to our label, but basically, we're looking at, I think you could put, do you have that label you could pull up for me on there that has the application rates? I think
2 pounds per 1,000, something like that.
Yeah, and even 4 pounds, I think, for medium and such and such. So it depends on what type of soil, where you're at. If you have a need for it, like if you're getting a lot of foot traffic, or if the heat, stress, and water, that's probably the most resounding thing we're finding. is the water retention is really incredible with our product. In other words, it'll reserve what it gets and hold it in the root zone as it gets down into your turf and works its way down in. And you really can't over apply it, guys. It's if you're doing, do you guys do soil tests?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think every
so-
spring at least.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are pulling them right now in the
Yeah.
Midwest and getting ready to kick off the season.
What comes back? I mean, across America, I'm sure it's a lot, but is there, most people don't really test for silicon, but is there locked up phosphates? Is that anything that anybody deals with?
Yeah.
Sure,
A
yeah.
lot of people do. Yep.
I think they say you
Well,
got to
that's-
factor that in. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that we're seeing is that in agriculture, and I'm sure it goes across the board with turf, is that it does unlock phosphates. One of the attributes of silicon, which doesn't really apply to turf, is it blocks heavy metal uptakes or helps very much regulate them to the point where it is very noticeable in the tissue samples. So
Yeah, you
Um,
sent us or you shared with us this presentation, this silicon and turf grass from this Auburn University folks. And one of the things that it talked about was like antioxidant systems improve, which I guess that could help with like disease stress, things like that. But it also said activation of the defense systems. So it sounds like they've studied it in some respect. Is some of this stuff in relation to what they've studied for crops and cannabis and that sort of thing? If the evidence for turf grass is scant, are they kind of drawing from prior knowledge of how it worked in those applications?
yes and no. There's some other silicon providers that come from some of the the metallic slags out there, and they've got a lot of funded research on silicon, and there isn't a large with, let's just go with, say, our product's OMRI listed, which might not stand out to most golf courses. They want to see bottom line return on investment. So a lot of the research is not driven by home, it's driven by golf courses and universities.
Sure.
So, and I was putting together that turf fact sheet just over the last couple of days. And, we have a lot of with and without that are vegetables, cannabis, corn, but I don't have a whole lot for turf. So as we get some of this out there, hopefully we can get some people to give us, there you go. That's some of our with and without testimonials. That just, you see, like I said, seeing a difference makes a difference.
It's pretty dramatic. Yeah.
Yeah, there are a number of studies that are out there, because I've mentioned it before, on the show. I think early on, probably around this time last year, we were talking about role of silicon and silica in turf grasses, and I know David and I had talked about it on the show in the past, like some of those early episodes, and I had done a decent amount of research into it. And if you just look it up, like, role of silicon in turf grasses .edu, you'll pull up that there's a decent amount of studies out there. It's not like you're going to come across hundreds of studies, but you're easily going to be able to jump on find 5-10 studies, relatively quickly that you can take a look at. And one of the big things that I've kind of noticed about it is big time reduction in plant stress, both wear and tear stress, but also in disease resistance. And the specifics that I recall, I don't even have the articles. I'd printed out a whole bunch of articles, gone through them and read them and all that other stuff. And I don't know what I ended up doing with them, but off the top of my head, I do remember seeing at least 1 or 2 studies that, specifically mentioned powdery mildew and brown leaf spot as showing a heavier disease resistance for those 2 particular funguses. So
That's cool. Yeah.
Brent,
now
I'd like to
we
add-
had a really, go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of the ones is, if you Google that, you're going to come up with the Godfather of Silicon. He's Lawrence Datinoff, and it's Silicon in the Life of Performance of Turf Grass.
Okay.
And you'll find his name leaned on heavily throughout all silicon research, and this is a good paper as well. So, but yeah, sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, that's great. I just remember seeing specifically, reduction in stress, wear and tear, and then disease resistance and, kind of fungus resistance, and those two just kind of stick out in my head from my memory. But now, granted, I did have some fungus set in my yard this past fall, towards the end of the summer, early fall, I guess. But everybody was dealing with fungus. It was just like disease pressure, kind of like nationwide, specifically in the Northeast. It was just absolutely heinous. I mean, it was wet and it was wicked humid. So, it's kind of like, I don't remember too many people at that time, on the show that were jumping in the live chat saying, oh yeah, I have absolutely zero problems. I don't have any fungus in Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. Like everybody was having issues, in the greater like New York City, Philadelphia area. Like it was bad. So I can't say, oh yeah, it totally like cured my woes and I had no disease pressure, but we also had a pretty standout year for funguses up in the Northeast. So I don't know how that plays into it, but I'm going to use it again this year and going to keep cranking with it, see how we do now.
If you see the onslaught of that, you might double down on that area. But in all fairness, out here in Montana, we don't get a lot of that moist. We have other problems from what I understand, but yeah, I would. How many pounds per acre were you putting down? Or yards, I guess it would be.
I did, yeah. I have a 5,000 square foot lawn, and I want to say probably somewhere like definitely in that high range. It was definitely probably 6 or 7 pounds per 1,000. Yeah, probably closer to 7. So actually pretty much even off label. Because I had worked with a buddy of mine who was on the show a couple weeks ago, former golf course superintendent, and he manages a research farm now. And we'd gone through my soil test, and he was like, yo, man, he's like, take this 50-pound bag and throw like, almost the whole thing out.
Yeah.
All right, shoot, because he'd helped me go through my soil test. Because admittedly, I'm not nearly as good at, the soil test stuff as Nate is and Zach is. I mean, these guys know way more than I do, and they're a lot.
Did you say
smarter?
You didn't say my name in that conversation, did you?
Yeah,
I just said you're way smart. Nate's way smarter than that than I am.
This must be misleading.
So given that,
so
Brent,
professorial and encouraging, Coach
Right.
Nate. I like that you're just an encourager.
how
so the
often would you
volcano
apply
ash-
this?
Oh,
No, you go ahead. You're talking already.
that volcano ash. So how do you guys get a hold of that material? And I mean, how's that material sourced?
We source it right now through our website, and we have very few retailers on the east side. But
I mean,
most
how do
of
you guys
we
how do you
source
guys get it? How do you guys get
gotcha.
it to sell it?
off of a mine site in Montana? It's an open cut mine,
Okay.
and it's like just a deposit where we use no dynamite. There's no water involved. It's just brought down with an excavator, put through crushing system, heated, packed, and then ready to go.
I have to say, I was actually at the Pro Pete facility when they were making the fossil. So you mentioned that John is working with you to package that up and do the granules and stuff like that. So for those that don't know, when Pro Pete was on about a year ago, he talked about a product called Fossil, PHOSUL, and that's what Rob's talking about here as well. Man, they get it down to like a very fine, I mean, it's almost like dust, right? So I've seen the screens that they push it through. And you said something like a 120 mesh or something like that?
Minus 120 mesh.
Minus
And then
120.
goes through pan granulator.
Mm-hmm.
Our product was actually, when John's plant was new 6 years ago, our product ran through that for the very first time. We christened that plant.
Okay.
Basically add a little bit of water and then a little bit of pine tar, and that's all that goes in there. Not pine tar, excuse me, pine juice. It's an OMRI listed, keeps the dust control down, works kind of as a little bit of granulation aid, and it has a little bit of microbial action as well. So
Yeah.
that's all that granule is. So does that answer your question? Sorry, I didn't get it right the first time.
Zach,
Yeah.
about sourcing.
So, I mean, as far as calling it volcanic ash, I mean, what determines that that's volcanic ash?
Oh, the composition, it's 76% amorphous silica, which is the volcanic ash. It's very pure.
Okay.
And then the rest of it, we brought up the micro, but that's what it's classified by geologists that have done the studies. It's an ignimbrite, but it's a volcanic ash. So yeah,
That's cool. Interesting.
Yeah, just got news. I think it's probably the ink's not dry, but I believe that ISSAG has approved volcanic ash as a silicon source. And they're now classifying silica as a, what is it? I'll have to come back to that in a second. I'm not sure I'm supposed to say that one yet. Let me we will. Volcanic ash is in APCO as a silicon source. Yeah.
Well, you heard
Okay,
it
so
here
it's
first.
going to be classified. Silicon will be a source of, be classified as a biostimulant.
Okay.
But I'm off.
So the ash, does it consist of trees, plants, dinosaurs? I mean, what all's in there?
Good enough question.
Animals?
Okay, so what it was is in Montana, we had a like the Yellowstone Park, we had a big volcanic plate. And what happened was it was called a Nuez ardente, and it's out of the side of a volcano, a fissure forms, and it blasts out like a cloud it goes super fast, like 160 miles an hour, really gaseous and hot. And it settled into this valley in our particular case. And so it didn't have all the magma and the lava and that crystalline impurities. It's just a pure, really fine silicon, which is very rare to find in nature. Silicon, you get silica, you get the crystalline forms of it. There's zeolites, there's the azomites, there's the diatomaceous earths, the wollastonite, but they all are in a different combination. They don't lock in that amorphous non-crystalline. There's a picture, I think, on our turf. Well, no, it's not. It's a micro. It's like a scanning microscopic image on our website. And I'm sorry I don't have it. I can maybe bring it up when I'm not talking, and we can look at it. But it basically is it's the honeycomb. It's like cavernous, like piece that really makes ignimbrite or Montana grow special. It hangs around, it does its job, it doesn't go away. The root structures really like it. Am I able to share my screen at all?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
If I did,
The mom hit share screen and then pick which screen it is.
I won't waste our time. Let's see, share screen on, I don't see where that's at.
Well, I've
Cut
got
all the other stuff off first.
Just make sure you check your tabs.
I've got this
I can
pulled
use- I
up
can
from the
just-
website.
Yeah, there you go. There it is right there.
Okay.
Okay, this is kind of what I was asking about.
I'm all dedicated on one screen. So
Yeah.
so if you look there to the right, that's really what you're looking at. And that's where there's just so much surface area.
So it would kind of increase the surface area of the soil. That'd be kind of the benefit of it.
Yeah, well, it goes down into the soil and it kind of lodges in there, and the roots migrate to it. And as it begins to weather and break down, it provides a food source for the microbes and the activity, and it kicks in the whole system of the ladder of nutrients. It goes with starts with a little bit of molybdenum. So it creates a healthy soil environment. And silicon is a transporter gene for plants. So it works the same way with grass. When grass or turf needs something, it utilizes its root system to bring up the nutrients. And having a strong vascular root system into the turf blade provides what would be a rigid turf blade that I'm told mows better,
Mhm.
has a higher
That's
sheen.
my interest in silica,
Yeah, and so
is to get the blade to stand up, about like Nate's mustache, good and strong.
what type of silicon do you use?
I've never used any.
Oh, yeah, all right.
I'd like to try it. Like my
Oh,
issue,
man.
Just to get
like
limp.
this year, I'm going to mow shorter height than I normally do, because by the end of the season, the blades, they want to lay over from where the mower's been so many times. So
It's
I'm
hard
gonna
to
mow
like
shorter for
wipe
one.
it a clean slate for you.
Mhm.
You're getting old.
But
Olee.
I've been
That's
told
why.
that, silica will, I guess, strengthen the cell walls or strengthen the plant walls or whatever to keep it stood up.
It's true.
So how often would
So
you
would it be
apply
safe?
I mean, I would apply it. It just depends on what your situation, where you're at. Like, I mean, if you're getting some sort of a stress like that, I'd maybe go, if that was, I don't know, 6 pounds one time a year, I might go like maybe three times a year. If my grass was looking good and I just wanted to see the difference, I'd maybe lay it down 4,000 or 4 pounds and do a with and without and see what I see. If you have something that's in a soil test that really says, hey, silicon's going to help this problem, maybe more, I'd do that. That's what I would recommend. You can't put too much on and you're going to get the residual effect. One thing nice, when you're dealing with, say, container growers, is a lot of them, they just don't keep their soil. It's becoming more of a trend to have a living soil and to use it over and over again. But that's the one with turf, you want to take care of that soil because that's going to be your soil base for years and years to come. You don't want it to compact. So this will help it from compacting. It'll help with the irrigation too. So like when it rains, it'll help it drain into the root system and it'll hold it. Like I've got video on our YouTube channel of a gentleman with tomato plants that it holds upwards of 30 to 40% water. It just retains it, continues to retain it, keeps it from draining.
This is like a natural, nature-made biochar, is what it sounds similar to.
Yeah,
because man-made biochar does a lot of what you're saying, but this is like a natural, cause of the volcano or whatever.
Yeah, if you were to mix this with a biochar, you'd have a winner there. I mean, if you look at a table, the periodic table, you got silicon and carbon, or what I like to call kissing cousins. They're just right there, boom, boom. And they're the only two elements on that table that freeze thaw. So you get enough of that in your tissue, you're going to, frost is not a problem with, you can extend your growing season. I'm assuming that's just got to equate to turf as well. With the heat stress and the frost, the plant literally will just rebound from a frost event, won't die.
I did see a good question in the chat that I was curious about. Is it water soluble?
No, it's not. It's water suspendable. So there's, the benefit to that is it does not leach or, wash away. It stays in the area. And I know it's an important question, but with the root zone, we really don't need it to all be available at once. Okay. That's not what a plant wants. It wants it in when it needs it, and it needs it a little bit all the time. And then sometimes it needs more. Our product delivers on all those fronts, and it's there when it really needs it. Maybe if you miss it, if you miss an application, as opposed to being, washed away or used, because if you overuse it, or if you put it all on the plant, like say a foliar, it absorbs what it needs to go into, and then the rest is not going to be used.
So is it broke down through microbial activity?
Yeah. We
And
feed
so,
microbes.
okay.
So what happens is typically, in a root ball, like in a potted container, you'll see the roots will just migrate to the chips. A lot of people use a 3/8 inch minus, which just gives you a little bit more like a pumice almost. And they mix it half and half with their vermiculite or whatever it is they're using to hold up space, and perlite mostly. And then you get that space saver, but it sticks around. But if you throw that away, our stuff is more expensive And so you're throwing away money. So when you're doing a living soil, the microbes are very important in keeping all that alive and going. So we're a really important part of that in that cycle of soil health. And carbon is also very important. And what we do is we work really well with it. In other words, those two together just make things want to really grow. There's some formulas out there that have the carbon in it. There's a company that is using our product, I believe now it's called Miramichi.
Yes, sir.
Product out.
Yeah.
If you look at them, they have a 10% silicon in there. That's getting blended in at a plant.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so those guys are on the, they get it. So yeah, and one of the things I'm personally trying to do and getting more involved with golf courses is I haven't golfed in a while and I love golfing, but the coral reefs are really being hit hard by resort golf courses with the runoff. And there's a really concentrated effort of, high-end fertilizers trying to address that issue. And we are one of the better solutions, upwards of 50 to 60% blends based on a lot of those golf courses, they've got locked up phosphate and the nitrogen all runs into the ocean, and the phosphate that isn't locked up runs into the ocean. So we're trying to do, that's where some of the science I was explaining earlier, we're trying to do science on grass when you're just doing it in your house. It's kind of hard. The last place you get done is in your own backyard. But I did successfully use this product in a hydroseed when we first laid down our turf, and it worked very, very well in a hydroseed. And that wasn't with a granule. That was with an amendment. On our website, you can see we have an amendment granule and we're releasing a micro. So the micro suspends in water. So if you're spraying gypsum or some other type of mineral that's not soluble but is suspendable, then the micro is good.
It's basically, it's just it's a sponge. So it'll take in, and then when plant needs it or whatever, it'll release it. So
Got a high cation, a high positive and an even higher negative cation exchange. So that allows it to take in and it puts it out just as quick. You just don't want to get this stuff wet in when you're transporting it or storing it.
Yeah, so I was actually going to pull that up real quick. The amendment you were talking about, if you hover over, I don't know how well you guys can see that. I mean, that is
Gripper jug.
very fine product. So if you got that wet or you got, like you're talking about, it's all messed up.
Well, what it does is it just gets super heavy. Okay, so it doesn't want to spread, and it doesn't expand. Okay. So there you go. There's the granules.
That's the granules compared to granules.
It won't expand, so it'll just get heavy and wet, and it won't glue together. It just gets heavy.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
But that stuff is being used heavily with cocoa coir and other substrates, peat moss. Actually, still twisting John's arm to get that in Pro Peat, which is a great product, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
We love Pro Peat and we love Fossil. Wonderful.
Yeah, that's what Nate just put in the chat, man. If you had Pro Peat carbon stuff put in with this silicon Fossil, man, you get award-winning fertilizer right there.
Yep. I believe somewhere in a back room they're doing something like that.
Well, if I would have known that, I would have taken a couple handfuls of each while I was there and kind of did my own little mixture of stuff, see what I could come up with. But also, since we're kind of in a transition right here, you had mentioned that you were willing to do an amazing giveaway. So we made up this little graphic. So Rob is gracious enough to come on and let you guys actually, a few of you lucky people, win some MontanaGrow granules to try out on your
Nice
lawns. So The winners, there's a one winner of a 50-pound bag and 3 winners of 25-pound bags, and then 5 winners of those 4.3-pound jugs. So for those that are in the chat right now, if you guys will actually type in silicon into the chat, that will get you an entry into the giveaway that we'll do a little bit later in the show. But we want to get that started because usually it takes me about 15 minutes or so to grab names. So type in silicon.
Hit that like button first.
Yep, and hit that like button. And then you guys can keep talking about whatever we talk about while I get names.
I've seen a few questions in the chat asking like how it's applied. Is this just put down with like a basic broadcast spreader?
Yeah, ease of application. You just mix it, blend it with your regular application, or you can put it on by itself. Yeah, hand spreader, push spreader.
Does it have a, well, yeah, I see that now. So it's you got a SGN of 240.
That's correct.
And then also you got a SGN of 120. So you got like a greens grade and then a standard grade.
Yep. We have a greens grade. It's upon request, but yeah, for the golf courses that and
Yes,
the tee
sir.
boxes.
People who real mow.
We're toying with, I guess, having a blend, the minus, because it really just gets down to what we hit, what we have John do at Pro Pete before he bags it, right? So
There's one question also. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I saw one question in the chat asking if it's safe for like animals. I know a lot of homeowners, they have dogs and whatnot. So that's a big concern for your average homeowner is, if I throw this down and I forget or something, and my dog gets out there and starts sniffing or licking on the ground, is this something that I'm gonna have to be calling the vet, or is it something that's considered safe for pets and children as well?
Yeah, no, it's safe for children and pets as soon as you lay it down. In the raw mineral form, it's actually we have one of our better clients is a Hutterite colony in Montana that uses it to feed to their chickens and pigs. So it's a totally grass status, generally regarded as safe, and it's non-crystalline and amorphous, so there is no dust control problems. And in the granule form, it's pretty much dust free. So if your animal was to eat it, it's probably because it desires the minerals that are in it. It's like our mind draws a lot of elk and deer that lick the rocks for the minerals.
Almost like a deer salt lick or something that you'd put out for like a mineral block you'd put out for a cow or a deer or whatever to lick on.
Yeah, I think they like the salt licks better, but yeah, nature, what's available, they make use of. And so, yeah, they found their way over the years to the mine.
Gotcha. So this mine, I think a couple of people have asked it, but I'm curious as well. This mine, is it something that's owned, or is it a public open, like I could back my truck up and shovel some of this stuff in the back of my truck, or is it something that someone owns, whether it be a company or private or something like that?
Yeah, that's privately owned by the same company that owns MontanaGrow. It's called Ignimbrite Minerals. And
Gotcha.
Ignimbrite is is the form of rock, of volcanic ash. So that's what the mineral company is named after. But it's on about 45 acres, and it operates under a small miner's permit, much like a gravel pit. Can actually be seen from the highway in Montana. But there's it's a fairly isolated mine. The resources, the circumstances that created the reserve are very unique. A lot of your sources have been compressed underwater, like under lakes and different things. And this was coated by topsoil and south facing. So it preserved its natural integrity, purity.
Are you aware of any other sites, the mine sites in the United States or even like international or whatever that this is used, or is this, you said unique? Is it to the point where it's the only one in the world type of thing?
Well, right now it's pretty unique. I'm not going to stake a flag on it, but I think that there's probably got to be other sources. The unique thing about it is it's a lot like a fingerprint. Every volcanic deposit is going to be different. And after it deposits, after 30 million years, it's even going to be more different. And then finding a road next to that unique source that exposes that source. So now that, silicon's not in any of the textbooks. So as we move forward and fertilizers become more expensive and we look at natural resources, I think that there'll be more emphasis on finding deposits. But I don't think that anybody's been set to task to go find it, really.
Yeah, I was thinking the first kind of place that came to mind, was like Hawaii. They're kind of known for volcanoes and stuff. So I didn't know if this was other examples exist in Hawaii, or if it's one of those things where no, this is pretty unique.
I was just in Kona, and that's just a really hard lava rock out there. And part of their problem is that's so porous that they don't hold soil. I was actually amazed to see guys, I don't know, they grow their soil on cocoa coir. I went to a turf farm. They're actually, I'll try and post some of the results, but they're using that, and it's in a cocoa coir. They don't have soil. Soil is really valuable there. It all rinses and washes away, and it's a young island, so that takes all the soil away. Typically, islands are very devoid of plant available silicon for that exact reason. Where you're going to find these deposits would be more. I don't know, where there's been volcanic activity over the years, and I know there's other ones out there. I just not akin to where exactly they'd be. I've spent most of my time wrangling this one, gentlemen. So,
are there other applications for this that you guys sell? So they own the mine. I would have to imagine it's not solely just for MontanaGrow, but maybe it is. Do they have other things that they sell this stuff for to be used for something else?
It's pretty much at this point, it's just agriculture. There's interest in livestock. Like I said, there's the Hutterites up here. They're kind of like what you would call the Mennonites, or you're in Montana, but that's right it for now. There's other people that have used it for animals, and we've used it with the FFA a little bit and projects, and it certainly makes the pig's coat a lot shinier, and it helps with any of the enteritis. The waste material is a lot drier when it comes out. It's a lot less volatile. So, in all fairness, a lot of our cannabis growers are full cycle. They use it for vegetables, but they start with their chickens, their pigs, and then they add a little bit more to devolatize it, and then that becomes one of their main sources of fertilizers. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, so and they use that in their garden vegetables mostly because of the nutrients. So yeah, it takes the odor away too. That's the other thing. One of our biggest clients in a liquid department they had a problem with the fish, the bone meal, the liquid fish fertilizer, and they add our micronized product to that, and it eliminates the odor. They were unable to keep it on the shelves. If you're using natural manures, that's one of the options, is to keep the odor down. So there is a lot of uses for it. It's something that hasn't been on the market that long, and silicon itself is, there's a lot of sources of silicon and silica out there that are manufactured or from other sources, and so just claiming this is actually our rock right here, just having this basically rock resource that we're able to make those materials out of it's a good start. And thanks to the guys down at ProPete, we got a nice granular, and I think John's excited to get us involved more in turf, and I think that we look forward to it. And distribution definitely would help, but right now, like by giving away some of this product, hopefully we can start with that, get it in the right hands. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, make a couple believers.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Well, I've got the wheel of names. So let's go in and let's do the 5 4-pound 3 jugs. Let's do those rapid. Let's see here.
So those jugs are good for like gardens and plants and flowers and things like that, would you say?
Yeah, I got a good story on those. I had an old coach that lived up on Flathead Lake with those really big, beautiful ponderosa pines. And boy, his grass would take the brunt of that pine needle, the
Mm.
this acidification. And I just walked around with one of those one time I was there and just on a whim put it down on a bunch of those hard hit spots. And by the end of the summer, they were growing grass. And it was pretty amazing. So I think you could get enough to become a believer out of a 5-pounder.
All right. All right. So I'm going to shuffle it my usual 3 times, and then we'll spin for those 5. 2, 3. Olee, ready for music?
Yes, sir.
All right. Here we go.
Yeah, baby.
Hey.
Dude,
okay.
he wins.
Serious?
He wins
way.
every single
Are
week.
you kidding me?
How?
That's awesome.
I'm
You
changing
better
my
go
name
buy a
to
lottery ticket.
And
LTZ
he's-
Stripe Life. That's my new name.
LTZ Homestead
Dude,
Stripe Life.
Life,
He won-
Iowa.
He won the hose reel from me. He's won at least 3 other people's giveaways, personal, and then 3 prizes on here.
Killing it.
He's got
Won
he's got the easy flow
Easy
coming.
flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the hell.
He's the new Homestead Lawn, man. Back in the day, a year ago was
Jesus.
Homestead.
Need to have him and Homestead battle it out for
Right.
giveaways.
Yeah,
Right.
he's
All right, here's for jug number 2. Holy. Hey,
Steel
Steel
Cut,
Cut Lawn.
Ohio.
Hey,
Congrats, Steel Cut.
All right, jug number 3. Oh,
Ooh.
Michael
Ooh.
Check.
all right.
Michael
all
Jack.
right.
And Blue Bottle almost won there.
Mike Cack.
That was 3. All right, here goes number 4.
Congrats, my guy.
Silicon jugs. Oh, jeez.
Big jugs only.
Tyler Condrell.
Ew.
Condrella.
Big jugs only. That should be on a shirt, don't you think?
Yeah, that sounds good.
That'd be a sweet looking shirt.
All right, number
KOTG
5.
jugs.
Number 5. Here we go. Tanner Moore. Congratulations.
Ew.
All right,
Congrats,
for those
all you
that have
guys.
won, you guys need to message the KOTG Instagram page. Get us your name, address. We'll get it over to Rob and he'll get that stuff out. But we're going to take a quick break from that because Bill wants to announce Lawn of the Week and give the whole
Ooh,
spiel
yeah.
about it, right?
I
Yeah,
saw him in the
yeah.
chat. He's in the chat.
Yeah, I did. I saw him
He's in there.
not too long ago. So yeah, so I think this guy, I was looking, he's got a new account. It looks like he's only posted a few times, but
So
he's
tell
already
us
watched the
about
show.
Lawn of the Week. How do people do
Oh,
that?
that's right. Yeah. So KOTG Lawn of the Week. Every week, we encourage you guys to post pictures of your lawn and use that hashtag KOTG Lawn of the Week. You could do it in reels, posts, videos, anything that's not going to disappear. So no stories. And you got to have a public account. Otherwise, we can't see it. But we're all following the KOTG Lawn of the Week hashtag. You're chatting all week long, looking at who's sitting picks and kind of, having that debate back and forth. So, send out your picks. We're looking for current picks. If it's I don't know, March and you got full leaves on your trees, we're gonna know, that's not that's probably not current, depending on where you live. Anyway, so yeah. So this week, let me pull them up here, but we have the winner's gonna be Bryce Guy's lawn.
Bryce Guy's Lawn.
Bry Guy's lawn, yeah.
Yeah.
Brag.
And we didn't count you off
Bry
for
Guy.
misspelling Brian because, we know it's with an I, but that's looking nice. Knoxville, Tennessee, right? Knoxville.
Fescue looks like. Keep off the grass.
Loving that little gnome.
That's a sweet gnome.
Yeah, I like that gnome. We might have to figure out who the manufacturer of that is and sell them on our website.
Get one for our desks. Put them on our desk for the shows.
Yeah, man. But
Look
yeah,
how good that grass is between his little stones too.
That's what I like.
Yeah,
healthy.
that's really nice.
That's some winning crack grass right there. Not that
I wanna-
traveling crap.
I want to see that
Aaron,
like late
hey,
spring
Aaron.
when it's looking
real.
good. Yeah.
Real
Oh,
thick
yeah.
in the
That's-
I
cracks.
can't wait
That's
to
called,
see this in a couple weeks.
That's called joint grass.
Joint grass.
Joint grass. It all
I
joints
want some
together.
of that.
Yeah, everybody keeps
Don't
talking
want
about
that crack
cannabis.
grass.
Zach's over here foaming at the
Mhm.
mouth. But we mentioned Pro Pete before, so the lawn of the week is sponsored by Pro Pete, meaning that if you win lawn of the week, Pro Pete will send you out a bag of fertilizer, your choice of NPK. So if you're new to the show, if we haven't done lawn of the week the last couple of weeks because not everybody's lawn is looking like Bright Guy's lawn at this time of year. And listen, it's getting to be spring. Spring's coming up. So as you get out in the lawn and get those KOTG lawn of the week photos and reels posted up, remember you're doing it for a free bag of Pro Pete fertilizer, your choice of NPK. So big thanks to John Pocock and Melissa Pocock for sponsoring that. It's really cool of them to do.
Hell yeah.
The other thing to throw in there is your choice of NPK, but also for someone who real cuts, they have the option of greens grade.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
your choice of SGN.
I think Golf Course Lawn, he did a greens grade when he won this last time. They should have got those out. I think Lawn Father, they sent that out earlier this week. So guys, don't forget to tag them. I mean, they're giving out some free fertilizer, so the least you could do is just give them a little shout out when it comes in. Maybe when you're using it, stuff like that.
Yep. And yeah, absolutely. Tag them, help give them the exposure. They've been doing us a favor, and they're going to continue to do it. And that's hopefully the trade-off is just to, get the product out into people's hands, get whoever, trying out Pro Pete, see if you like it. If you're a believer, great. Definitely throw them a post on Instagram, and, they'll likely repost you and, kind of get the word out about them. But if you're also interested in buying Pro Pete, it's available on Home Depot, but, it's also available on Winfield United Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yes, sir.
there's some deals you can get, 4 bags, 6 bags at a time. And Olee, you've done that before. How do you go about mixing the NPKs if you put that order in?
Say if you're going to buy 4 bags and you want 2 of one NPK and 2 of another, you just put it in the notes. There's notes there or whatever. And you just simply say, hey, I want 2 1704s and I want 2 7414s. And that's what they'll put on your order.
Those are 50-pound bags, right?
Those are 50s. And if you buy, between 4 and 6, you're looking roughly between $42 and $45 a piece shipped.
Yep.
And
Yeah. So
I
Home
would-
Depot, I was just looking because they're like 30 to 35 for a 25-pound bag and free shipping. So you're essentially a few bucks more. You're getting 50-pound bags and you're getting 4 of them. So yeah, that stuff. I mean, that's good. That's good fertilizer. So yeah.
I just ordered 6 50-pound bags last night, actually.
Nice.
And I did use the fescue freak code that Ole's put out before. Where and actually I saved an extra $15 on top of that. So you had the good deal of, like I said, I think so. I got $300, 300 pounds. In the comments, I said, hey, I want these NPKs, and I think my total was $246 with a coupon. That's tax, shipping, everything out the door. So you do the math per pound. That's a good deal, guys. So, and I think we're all not dumb to what's going on in the world as well with what's going to happen with fertilizer prices. So I know Ole's been posting about it, but I would agree that, if you got a few extra bucks in your checking account, now would be a good time to stock up and buy some because I think the price is going to go up. Grass seed, look what happened to grass seed. It's way up compared to last year and the year before. So if you can buy it, do it, store it, use it.
Keep it dry. Keep it dry. Use it next year.
Yeah.
I guarantee
Yeah.
you, if you buy it right now, you won't regret it in a couple months. You won't regret it.
Yeah.
It's
So
got to
Rob,
be something with those raw materials, right? Because I saw somebody was talking about how even for the different ingredients for agriculture and livestock and all that kind of stuff, all your food and crops are going to get more expensive because the stuff to feed them and grow them is getting more expensive. So that too.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right.
It's not gonna get any cheaper.
So what I want to do is jump back in and we'll do those 3 25-pound bags, and then
Ooh,
Rob, I
yeah.
want to we'll take another couple minute break in between those and the big 50-pound bag winner, to maybe talk about distribution. Where is MontanaGrow, how to get it, all that kind of stuff. So let's do this first, and then you can jump into that distribution question in between. So let me share my screen again here. All right. So we got 3 25-pound bag winners coming up. Here comes number 1. Hey, there we go. Just skipped over him that one time. Now he's got it. Dan Blue Bar.
Appreciate your
Congrats.
wife that one time shouting us out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Congrats.
All right. 25-pound bag number 2. Hey, there we go.
Nice. That's a good one to see.
Congrats, Prez.
Boy, Prez.
Who has the
We-
belt right now?
I know Harper's Explorer was asking who to send it to next, so hopefully whoever's after him or was after him. I don't even
Check
know who
out
that
the
was.
Haven't seen
website.
it in a while. I missed
You have
it.
to check out the website to see who's next.
Nope. All right, and bag number 3.
The suspense.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes. Brittany Edwards. All right.
Ew.
Congrats.
Man.
Sitting right here.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Well played.
Yep.
Magic carpet ride.
Who wants a mustache ride? We'll trade you, honey.
no.
You want a bag of this MontanaGrow? I will trade you that fertilizer for a mustache ride.
It's nice.
Just wait to read the comments. They're coming. I
Oh,
can hear it.
man.
I can see it
Yeah.
now.
Hey, listen, if
Fair deal.
you guys, for anybody listening on the podcast platforms, thank you for joining us. And anybody who's watching live right now, we are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, you name it. We're out there. We're on Amazon, all the podcast platforms. If you haven't checked us out on the podcast platforms, please do. Go into, Apple Podcasts, whatever, search for Keep Off the Grass podcast, and you'll see our logo pop up. And if you wouldn't mind hopping on there and giving us a rating, that helps get the podcast pushed out if people are looking for home and garden. Zach was looking at some things the other night. He sent me, or dropped it in the chat, some of the analytics. Zach's the analytics guy, and he informed us that we're real darn close of cracking a top 100 for lawn and garden podcasts on Apple Podcasts, actually, which I think is pretty sweet. Now, granted, that's a pretty niche podcast market, but we're still excited about that nonetheless. So,
And in the fall, we were peaked for a couple weeks at number 2 in Denmark.
Ooh, yeah.
And there's like
Shout out to
400.
Denmark.
There's like 400 active home and garden podcast, and we were number 2, but now we're down to like 45 or something like that in Denmark. So hello, Mark.
Yeah, thank
I
you,
don't know how you say it.
Hello, everyone. All the Danes are listening to Talk
We're
Grass.
gonna
I
learn
love
some
it.
Danish over there. So
Yeah.
how
So
to say
yeah, if
hello.
you wouldn't mind, if you even if you don't listen to it, if you wouldn't mind hopping on there, giving us a just follow on the Apple Podcasts, and maybe there's a week you don't catch it, that'd be an easy way to catch up. I'm a couple weeks behind. We're getting there, but definitely give us a rating. Hit that big 5-star thing, and that helps with the visibility and gets it pushed out on podcast platforms. So just want to say that real quick before we jump into the last giveaway.
Well, I want Rob to talk about distribution, because you're starting to pique a lot of people's interest here, and they're like, how do I get this? Do I drive to Montana? Like, where can I buy this stuff? So what do you guys have for distribution right now?
Well, our distribution is fairly solid over on the West Coast. There's a couple of companies that carry us. There's Spare Time in Willits. There's Grow West. There's online. I think you can find us on our website. There's a couple of you can Build a Soils, another place in Colorado. You can buy us. Mostly, I would say I would direct people to our website, and you can purchase the 50-pound or 25-pound bags there, and we can ship those out to you. If you want pallets, we're looking for distribution right now. Peach Country on the East Coast, I think out in New Jersey, is one of the people that have got a truckload sitting over there. So they're on their second truckload. So we're starting to pick up interest on the East Coast. I guess with our product, I would like to suggest, like when you pick up some Pro Pete, and maybe I can, talk to John. He's mentioned something about getting this, some better distribution as well. But we'll focus on that a little bit. But if you pick up a bag, it goes quite a long ways if you blend it with some of your NPKs. That's what I would strongly recommend doing. And then you put it on this spring with your NPKs, 10 to 20%, blended. And I think that you'll be very happy with your investment. And, with the prices of fertilizer going up, stretching it and keeping it around longer is really important. And, everybody knows their own lawns. So that's what I'd recommend, though.
Okay. So for those that, you don't know any local places, definitely jump on their website, montanagrow.com. They got an online store, just showed it there on the screen. And, grab some, mix it up with your fertilizer this season and see what it does for you.
If you'd like, just ask your local distributor or your local store to ask for it and give us a call. We'd be happy to send it out for sure.
Yeah. Like I mentioned to Rob, like Menards or something would be a good one for all you Midwest people.
Like Site One. I didn't know if there's any communication or interest from like Site One. That'd be a big landscaping company to maybe look into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
They got Miramichi, so
Site One does.
Yeah, that's
Miramichi
big. That's big in Site One.
They got us like 10%. They're in there, I think, at 10%. So like, say if you were to take Miramichi and add 10% of our product, you'd be all the better. Okay. Same thing with Pro Pete, and the same thing with Fossil. Getting your foot in the door with a large blend is it's a good accomplishment, but you don't always get the total space. Silicon has a wonderful effect with turf. You really can't OD on turf or rice, sugarcane. They really love silicon.
So is there any places you can't ship to? Somebody's asking Canada, and we have a awesome viewer on here in Hawaii. So anything you guys are not able to send to?
No, we're OMRI listed in Canada as well.
Nice.
So,
Sweet.
Hawaii, we can ship to. It's a matter of just shipping.
Yeah, just get it on a rowboat or canoe or something, and get it over there.
Guys in brown.
All right. Well, let's do this last big 50-pounder for this giveaway.
Yeah,
Salisbury, North Carolina.
All right,
so you said earlier 2 pounds to the 1,000.
Yeah, that'd be a minimum.
Yeah, it looked
Okay.
like there was a low, medium, or high rate. That's what
Yeah.
they showed earlier.
Yeah,
2,
high rate
4,
is
high rate's
6
like
pounds to 1,000, medium's 4 pounds to 1,000, and low is 2 pounds to 1,000.
Like with Brent, when your first year, maybe you put down that much, maybe the second year put down that much. I would be surprised if you need to keep putting that much down consistently. I mean, at some point you start to load your soil with silicon. Not that it's going to do any harm, but you can then back off, I would think, on how many times you put it down.
Yeah,
And-
that's kind of my plan this year. Is I'm going to go for a lower rate on it.
Yeah. And you should see, did you see a sheen on your grass when you put that on? A lot of people see a just watered look, that a deeper, more sheen in the grass. It's more chlorophyll, more attention to be able to sun locate.
Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely like over the course of like probably the first week of putting it down, like I started to note I've started to notice it. And that's why I went for it again the second year, because for the first year I used it, I'll tell you what, like, you know, and it was kind of one of those things where I was like, do I attribute this to the fertilizer? Do I attribute this to, you know, just good practices? Do I attribute this to the MontanaGrow? And then I said, well, I really don't care because it's working out pretty good. But like, you know, 2020 was the first year I used it, and it was pretty, my lawn was looking great.
I think it's all the above. I think too, if you can get it in with your, like this year, you don't use as much, but you actually blend it in with your NPKs.
Mhm.
I think that you'll get more out of both.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, and at 2 pounds to the 1,000, 50-pound bag's good for 25,000 square feet.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's a long ways.
Yep.
Olee, did you see when you were showing the different products at the very, very bottom, they had one of the Olee bags. Did you see that
Yeah.
sucker?
Was it
Pull that
super
back
sack?
up. Yeah, the super sack. I think it was,
Super sick.
I don't know how much weight it was,
There you
500 pounds. Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
How much
Yeah,
weight
how
is
m-
that?
How,
2,000.
Normally they're
2,000
2,000 pounds. That's a
2,000.
1-ton tote. So that's 2,000
There you go.
pounds.
There you go.
That's a big
That's
sack.
The Ron Jeremy.
Mhm.
oh, goodness. All right, here we go.
That's sweet.
It is. I need that.
DJ spin that shit.
You ready?
Yeah, here we
Hit it.
go. 50 pounds. Hey, there we go.
Hey,
Oh, wow.
Oh man.
All right.
Right, yeah.
That
That
tell
is
you.
awesome.
week.
Look at that.
Is
I
that
tell
a
you.
two-time
Theme.
winner?
Yeah, your lawn of the week winners always get the giveaways too for some reason.
It's the key. You win lawn of the week, and you are going to win a giveaway within like the month.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
It
Or
always
same
happens.
night.
I mean, it's just
Great.
a wheel.
Crazy.
We don't control it, but it seems to happen that way. So
So he can mix his Pro Pete and his MontanaGrow. And he
Hey,
can
Yeah.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Winning combo.
So just a reminder, all you winners, message the KOTG Instagram page. Give us your name and address. We'll get that over to Rob. And another big shout out to Rob. We appreciate you coming on and giving away your product to these DIY listeners and stuff. And
Absolutely.
hopefully you see some kickback from that. Sounds like some people are pretty excited. They're going to just get it anyways. And then some of these guys that won it, they said if it works out well, they're going to become a longtime customer. So
Fantastic. I appreciate your support, Brian, and you guys on the panel there.
yeah, man.
You're supporting a small business in Montana. I promise to make a better distribution circle. It just takes time, and you know, it's good to go. So appreciate the support.
yeah.
No, thank you for coming on.
It's definitely interesting to
Yeah,
learn.
thank you.
I will say that there was a lot of words that were said tonight that I have no idea what they meant. So I'm definitely this, and for me, this is one that I'll rewatch, you know, and then I'll try to pause it, and I'm gonna kind of Google what some of that stuff means. And you know, this is a great show to kind of learn a little bit more of stuff we don't use every day. So I think this is a great episode to help our community grow to what else is out there. You know, what else can we put down? What are the benefits to our lawn? So thank you very much for coming on and sharing some of that knowledge with us. We appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank
for
you.
having me.
Yes. Thank you.
And with that, Zach, you want to talk about next week or?
Yeah, next week ends our streak of guests. We've had consistent guests since the winter started. Amazing guests.
Amazing.
And we're going to go back to shooting for a one guest a month. And we'll go back to our wheel spinning where we can get one of you guys on once a month as well. But next week we have the Andersons coming on. So
Yeah.
it's they're local to me. Their headquarters is 20 minutes down the road. So, growing up, getting fertilizer to store, it was always buying local was Anderson's. And, even though they're an international company, they were local to me. So it's pretty cool. Excited to have them on.
Yeah.
Heck
We'll get that, and then we'll get back into our regular topics. So it's going to be fun. And what I like more about the regular topics is because our lawns are going to start growing and coming back.
Ooh, yeah.
Can't wait for that. That's going to be the exciting part. But
pre-emergent times just around the corner, y'all.
yes.
Pervy stripes are coming back.
Don't even do it. He's killing me.
I hear there's a racetrack.
I do like them big and curvy.
Olee 500, man. All right. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast, and we will see you next week.
Later, everybody.